How's it going, guys? I'm Shifty Cow, and in today's video we're going to be talking about 10 different things that I don't like about Battlefield 1. So before we get into the video, keep in mind this is a closed alpha and a lot is going to change between the alpha, the beta, and the full release of the game, so keep that in mind throughout today's video. And also, these are just my opinions. Feel free to disagree with them. Put your feedback down in the comments section below. I will be going through those because I love reading you guys' feedback. But anyways, let's hop into the first thing I don't like, and that is changes to the ticket system. So the way that it worked in previous Battlefield titles is you started out with a certain number of tickets, usually around 800 for Conquest, and every time you got a kill, it would take away one ticket from the enemy team, and depending on how many objectives you had, then it would take away more tickets or less tickets, or it would just change the speed of the game overall depending on how fast people are getting kills. And it would just kind of lead to some awesome moments where if you were able to predict and figure out how many objectives you needed to capture, you could come back with some really awesome comebacks. But the way it works in Battlefield 1, there is nothing to do with kills whatsoever. Whoever has the most objectives is going to be building up, so it's kind of backwards. You start off with 0 tickets and the first one to 200 wins, and for however long that you hold a certain objective, you get a ticket for that objective, and first one to 200 wins. So the first thing I don't like about this system is the rounds are too short, and I'm not sure if this is just because it's an alpha. There's a very high chance that it is, and they just want people to get through rounds more quickly. But overall, I thought the rounds were just too short. So on top of that, it also directly affects things like planes. They're not going to be nearly as helpful for winning games, because the biggest thing is they won't be able to directly affect the scoreboard by chipping down tickets. They're going to be able to, support people, and that's going to be helpful, but they're not directly contributing to the scoreboard like they have been in previous Battlefield games. Moving on, the second thing I really don't like is inconsistent destruction. So this is something that I think can be pretty easily remedied, because I understand that if everything was destructible, it would really ruin like the map balance and it just would not work for pushing up on objectives. And so a simple suggestion that I had is make things that aren't destructible have different textures or a slightly darker tone so they look more sturdy, whereas things that are, more frail, you can destroy them with like grenades or tanks or whatever. Make those a little bit of a lighter color, maybe look a little bit more frail. Just add some sort of visual quality so that way you can tell if you can destroy that at just a single glance. So moving on, the next thing I don't like is the tripwire traps, and these have been in the Battlefield franchise forever. People have been using them to get cheap, easy kills since at least Battlefield 3, and they are just super annoying. So right now they do 99 damage, which is supposed to be helpful because you're not going to get one banged if you're at full health. But really, I've never walked through one of these and not gotten killed, just because you're really never at 100% health unless you just spawned in. So what I'd like to see them change is switch it from 99 damage to something like 60 damage. So that way, you actually use it tactically and you want to kind of stay by that so you can use it as a defensive tool rather than just a cheap and easy kill. Because if you hear it go off or you get a hit marker, you're going to know, okay, someone's pushing that, and run over and get an easy kill because they're only at 40 health, but it at least requires a little bit of aim and accuracy and actual skill to get that kill. So up next, we have the K-bullets for the Scout class. Now, these have a lot of potential to be a really cool anti-vehicle bullet because they're a gadget for the Scout class, which is the sniper rifles. And the way it works right now is you switch on over to them, you can put one bullet in the chamber, and they do about 5 to 6 damage, really depending on where you hit them on the tank. And on top of that, from my testing, it doesn't look like they do any damage to airplanes. I'm not sure if that was glitching or bugged, and I think it'd be really cool if they kept the damage on the tanks, because I don't really want it to be, oh, let's go snipe so we can take out tanks. I don't really want that, but it'd be kind of cool if they did a lot of damage to airplanes so that airplanes actually had something to worry about on the ground rather than just AA turrets. Moving on, this is one of the more nitpicky things, and I don't think it's that big of a deal because people do learn as they play the game, but it would definitely be a huge help for them to add some kind of simple, short tutorial before you hop in to any round of Battlefield 1, even for people who have already played Battlefield before, just because there's a ton of different new mechanics, like the bayonet charge, there's different ways to take out tanks, and maybe people don't realize they have a special grenade just for doing damage to tanks, and also things that greatly influence the scoreboard, like, squad spotting objectives. A lot of squad leaders that I've been playing with haven't been doing that. I've asked them to do that, and they end up just not doing it. So it'd be kind of cool for them to add in a tutorial, talk about all the new important mechanics like squad spotting, bayonet charges, all the things like that, and how to do them, and then maybe if they really felt generous, add in a full beginner's guide to just kind of expand on the basic Battlefield info. So moving on to the next thing I don't like about Battlefield 1 is there's a pretty fair amount of bugs, and this is an alpha, so I don't really feel like this is fair criticism, but I'm going to go through it anyways. There are a lot of areas where you can try and mantle over, and it plays the animation, but then it throws you back, and it's only on certain areas of the map, so it should be a relatively easy fix. On top of that, I've come into a couple of times where it's played the reload animation, but hasn't reloaded, so the glorious reload bug is back, or hopefully it's just an easy bug for them to squash, because they did really hammer it out well in Battlefield 4. And also, one of the things I really don't like is the way the kill feed works. Sometimes it's very slow to give you kill confirmation. You'll get a red hit marker, which means you killed someone, but it won't pop up with their name and your points and anything like that for sometimes like a solid second, and they really need to work on reducing that down to where it's just instant. Speaking of kill confirmation, I also think that they should change up the kill UI. The little ticker that shows up every time you capture an objective or score any sort of points, I think they could do a much better job. It looks really nice, I'll give them that. It does look really clean and awesome, but I think the biggest thing that I don't like about it is it's really slow at showing how many people you've killed. So if I get like a 4 or 5 man kill, it could be showing up on my screen for up to like 25 to 30 seconds, which is just ridiculous. I think they should go to something like Battlefield 4, but just with the UI style, the same text and same stuff that they have right now. So that way it shows up on your screen, it has the name of the person you killed, and then underneath it in little tiny text is all the names of the bonuses, and then it just has your total points. So I think that would be the easiest way of doing it, rather than having things just flash up on your screen. I think that would be a lot cleaner and a lot faster. Up next, I think the medic mechanics could use a lot of love. The way it works right now is you can hold down spacebar to fast revive, and so as soon as you're killed, you hold that down, and you can be back at the deploy screen in about 2 seconds or so, which typically it's going to be about 5 seconds, and I think that's what it's been for previous Battlefield games. But basically what this leads to is as soon as you get killed, you hold down spacebar. Really, no matter how far away a medic is, they're going to run over and try and revive you, but they're just not going to be fast enough most of the time. So I think it should be mandatory that you have to wait for at least 5 seconds, but it would be kind of cool if they expanded out the revivable state timer, so if you wanted to wait, you could wait there for up to like 20 seconds, and then you could potentially get revived. I think that would be kind of cool, because then it would leave a bit of a broader spectrum for medics to actually come get you, especially if you're working in a squad. I think that would be really cool, but it definitely needed some love. Otherwise, the medics are just not going to even bother trying to revive people. Moving on, I think the squad leader should default to either the highest level or the most experience, so that way you're not getting people who don't understand all the mechanics of the game, who don't understand they need to be spotting objectives, and they need to be giving commands. They shouldn't quite be in charge yet. Still, you should be able to, promote them to squad leader. If you don't want to be it anymore, you can change it or choose who you want to be, but I think they need to just default it to whoever is the highest level or has the most experience, because typically that's going to lead to a lot more enjoyable gameplay. So finally, the last thing that I don't like about Battlefield 1 that I would like to see changed is the self-repair mechanic in vehicles and planes and really just whatever. It's really annoying, it doesn't promote teamwork, and basically the way it works is you can hold down a button for around 2 to 3 seconds and get back about 20 armor. And that's just ridiculous. So if you're at 20 health, you can put one of those and you get back up to 40 health. And that's basically the amount of like one rocket gun shot. And so that can be really annoying. It requires no teamwork, like I said. And so I'd like to change it back to something where someone has to have a hammer and be outside your tank repairing. That way it requires teamwork. Maybe you can spawn with a hammer. Maybe you have to hop into a tank. You can pick up a hammer, hop out and start repairing. They could add a bunch of different things to help people promote their tanks and work with them so they can capture objectives and overall just promote teamwork. But that's pretty much it for this video, guys. If you do have any ideas or, you hated everything I said, be sure to leave some stuff down in the comments below and we'll get into some big fight because that'll be fun. But if you did enjoy the video, be sure to like. Also, if you are interested in 10 things I did enjoy about Battlefield 1, which honestly I might just make it 20 because this game is amazing, be sure to hit the subscribe button because that will be coming out in the next couple of days. But hope you guys are having an awesome day, and until next time, stay buttery.